Hey everyone, it's Kyle. Happy Mother's Day. I just wanted to come on here and answer a couple questions. Well, one question in particular that I have been asked. And thank you guys for communicating with me like this. I love being able to communicate with you guys on this type of level where it's very personal. These are the type of videos I really do like to make. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. But before I get started, this is really exciting. My husband is a Miami Dolphins fan and he's watching the draft right now. And they just picked up, I don't know his first name, but his last name's Landry. So he's going to get a jersey with the name Landry on the back. That's so exciting. So anyway, the question that I wanted to answer for you guys was, what is the hardest part about being a new mom? And there's a ton of stuff, obviously, that's really hard about being a new mom. One, you have no idea what you're doing at all. You can think that you do until it actually happens and you are a new mom, and then you realize you have no idea what the heck you're doing. But for me, hands down, the hardest part about being a new mom was the baby blues. Totally, I knew of them. My best friend, I saw her go through it, and I just didn't think it was going to be that bad. How do I get into this? I cried because I was crying. It's not like a depression cry. It's not like you are depressed all day, and that's a different thing. That's postpartum depression. I didn't have that, thankfully, but I did definitely have the baby blues where the stupidest things trigger me to cry. It was awful. Example, the first day that we brought Landry home, I was upstairs and I was nursing the baby. The dogs were downstairs with Chris, and that in and of itself made me feel guilty because the dogs are my babies, and now I have a real baby, and the two of them were just, it was too early for them to, get adjusted, and they were downstairs crying and I could hear them, and I'm upstairs nursing by myself, and Chris isn't even watching TV at this point. The TV was just on, and I heard Titanic playing in the background, and it was like that flute music, and it just all of a sudden reminded me of death, and all these thoughts just flooded in, and I just started bawling, and I yelled down, "Please turn it off!" And Chris had no idea what I was talking about. He was like, "I wasn't even watching it." He's like, "I didn't even know it was on." And then I literally cried for 10 minutes over that. Another reason why I cried, which is so dumb, was my sister just came to visit me, and the thought, just seeing her, just made me cry. She is due in 6 weeks, actually, and when she came in, I was like, I don't want to scare you. Like, I felt like I was like scaring her because I was crying all the time, and it just overcomes you, and you don't feel like yourself, and you feel weepy, like the sad, like I would think of something sad and I would just cry. I was watching Teen Mom the one time, and the girl got yelled at while she was pregnant, and I felt so bad for her, bawling. I did not expect the baby blues to be that bad, and it lasted for me quite a while. I felt like I was still weepy. I can still get weepy over anything, but I felt like I was like still abundantly weepy for the first 2 weeks after he was born. Actually, he's crying now. He might be hungry. So I want to make this quick. But the other aspect for me that was really, really difficult was breastfeeding, and not the act of breastfeeding. I went into this saying, if he can latch and I have no issues with milk production, we'll breastfeed. If there's issues and I'm getting frustrated or he's frustrated, I'm not going to put him through that. We're going to do formula. It was either or, no expectations. Let's just see how it goes. And thankfully, he's amazing. He makes breastfeeding very easy, and I don't have issues with milk production. However, I also don't have this overabundant supply where I'm pumping, 8 to 10 ounces every time. Like, there's super women out there. That's amazing to me that you guys have that much milk. For me, it's not like that. I get maybe 3 or 4 ounces, sometimes 5 if I'm lucky when I pump. And the whole thing about breastfeeding that's hard for me is that, one, it's very demanding. You are the only person that can do it. No one can help you. If your baby's crying at 4 a.m., you have to feed him. You can't have your husband roll out of bed and do it for you. The other part for me, I feel like that's the hardest part about breastfeeding, is the scheduling of it. It's hard to, just get myself ready, but to get the baby ready, to get out of the house, and then to know, well, he needs to eat first, or you're going to be whipping your boob out somewhere. And for some people, that's what they do, and that's great. But for me, breastfeeding is such a personal experience. I have, you know, 2 places where I breastfeed. I have, you know, a little nursing station set up with water and breath mints or, you know, gum there and magazines and my Nook and my cell phone charger. I have this little area set up. And for me, it's just a very personal experience, and that's where I like to bond with Landry. So if you're the type of person that can go out and go to Target and shop around with the baby on your boob, that's awesome, but I'm just not like that. So for me, it's very hard to, or was very hard to get him on a schedule, and it still kind of is. Even going to a friend's house, knowing, well, I might have to feed him there. I have, you know, you have to have your nursing cover and all that stuff. So that part of breastfeeding is really hard for me. It's something that I'm still working on getting used to, especially when I have things like appointments where I need to be on time. But it's just something that you learn and you, I don't know, you learn as you go and you get used to things. And, but at the very beginning, that was hard. It was actually causing me anxiety. But now that he's getting bigger, he's not feeding every 2 hours, so it's not that bad. And it's getting easier at that point where you can say, well, we have a good 2 or 3 hours before he needs to eat again. And also to help me with that, well, I do pump, which I don't like to do because it's time consuming. And I hate pumping, but I do it so I can have a supply for when Landry goes to daycare, which he's going in like a month. It's so sad. I don't want to put him in there just yet, but I have to. And I don't even know where I was going with that, but pumping, I hate doing, and it's also hard and it's time consuming. And I have an abundance of resources for that, my sister-in-law being one. And if you have a support system like that, it makes it a lot easier. So if you are having issues with breastfeeding, if you can get yourself in a support system with either, I think it's called the La Leche League, or if you know someone that's breastfeeding now and they're good at it and they have like a system going, I feel like that has been the biggest help and biggest support for me. So, is there anything else I wanted to talk to you guys about that was hard for me? I think just sharing him is kind of hard for me, especially if I am gone for a little bit from him. Like, I went to go get a new cell phone, and when I came back, I wanted to hold him. Like, I was only gone for literally maybe an hour, hour and a half, but I felt like I just missed him so bad. So I feel like taking him, well, thank God I'm not the one dropping him off at daycare, or literally I probably would bawl my eyes out, but Chris is going to do that, thank God. But I feel like just sharing him with people is hard for me. Like, I don't know how, I don't know how the whole daycare thing is going to go, but even just having someone else hold him for a long time, I literally start to miss him. And I feel like that's because of everything I went through with the whole IVF thing and it taking so long to become pregnant. Like, Landry is my world. So when he's not in my arms or I can't see him, it's difficult. You can best believe that my cubicle at work is going to be like posters of Landry. So, yeah, I think that's it. If you guys have any other questions, please leave them below. I love talking to you guys on this level. It's been amazing for me to be able to ask you guys for advice, or you guys give me advice. So thank you for that. And also just want to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. Even the people that are TTC, I know what that Mother's Day feels like. It's so difficult because it's something that you want so, so badly. So my advice to you, or I don't even want to say advice, I just hope that I can be an inspiration for you guys after everything that I've gone through, that if you don't give up on your dream and you stay close to God and you pray and you're just faithful that you one day will be a mom, I know that it will happen for you. There was a time when I didn't believe it was going to happen for me, and then I prayed for my unbelief to go away, and lo and behold, I was blessed with Landry, and I've never felt so blessed in my life, and I've never felt closer to God. So I just encourage you to continue to be faithful, and you guys are always in my prayers. So happy Mother's Day to you guys too, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.